A polyaddict's descent into psychosis and deadly withdrawal. Hello everyone. So this story will be a little bit different from other stories and addiction education videos on this channel. The primary goal of telling this story is for harm reduction and informing others of the true dangers of substances such as Phenibut, benzodiazepines, and alcohol. This is my story of my descent into addiction and all of my near-death experiences when withdrawing from a plethora of substances at once. For everyone listening, please exercise caution in substance use. Let's get started. First off, let's delve into the beginning of my addictions. For most of my life, probably since I was 8 years old, I suffered from extreme anxiety and depression. I felt as though I was missing a crucial aspect of being human that everyone else besides me possessed. I dealt with extreme loneliness, social isolation, and thoughts of ending my existence. All I wanted was for the pain to go away and just feel like everyone else. When I was 14, I did some research on substances that could be used for depression, anxiety, and could be purchased online. After quite a bit of research, I stumbled upon a substance called Phenibut. After reading articles on the effects of the substance, I looked up YouTube videos and all of them praised the substance for being an effective social lubricant and providing a substantial mood boost. Soon after, I purchased the Phenibut from a reliable source. 3 days later, it arrived in the mail and I was extremely excited to try it out. I started off with small doses and gradually increased every few days. I began with a dose of 500 milligrams, then began to titrate my dose to 2 grams. I remember the first day I took 2 grams very vividly. I woke up pretty early in the morning, measured 2 grams of the Phenibut, dissolved it in a Red Bull, drank it, then fell asleep. 2 hours later, I woke up and felt the most euphoric I ever have in my life. It felt as though I was somewhat drunk, but substantially clearer and more euphoric. I recall listening to the Skinny Puppy album Too Dark Park on my headphones, and I was able to hear every single detail of the layered songs vividly. I felt muscles in my body relax that never relaxed before, a warmth that filled my whole body, and a feeling of complete content. I thought to myself, damn, this must be the way normal people feel every single day. It was a Saturday, and my dad and I went to Guitar Center. I remember being in the passenger seat and looking at the sky with immense awe. The clouds had so much more detail, and I felt so very small in the universe. I now knew what it was like to be free from the shackles of social anxiety and depression. For the first time in my life, I felt confident and as if nothing could stop me. I thought about the 9 Inch Nails song Piggy, more specifically the line, "Nothing can stop me now, 'cause I don't care anymore." These lyrics ran so true to how confident I was feeling. I compared the Phenibut high to having the best memory of your life, but living that memory in the present moment. It's akin to having everything in life figured out, sitting on the beach without a care in the world, and feeling the sun warm up every cell in your body. I would continue taking the Phenibut twice weekly and 2 grams per dose. I would usually take walks and sit in my room and listen to music. Life was just simply better on the substance. Fast forward 3 years and the Phenibut provided me with the confidence to finally take action in my life and improve my circumstances. I soon got the perfect first job as an arcade attendant and made friends with every single person that worked there. I felt that I was my true self on Phenibut. One day, after I started working at the arcade, I had a day off, was extremely anxious, and decided to take 2.5 grams of Phenibut to rid me of my anxiety. 2 hours had passed, and I felt the best I ever have in my life. I realized that I wanted to feel this way every day for the rest of my life. So began my daily use of 2.5 grams. Soon I began to have the best experiences of my life. I got my first serious girlfriend, partied, and spent time with friends trying things such as weed and alcohol. I wouldn't smoke weed all that often, but soon began drinking about every day that I worked. I would fill a large water bottle with tequila or vodka and would buy breath mints frequently. After my girlfriend broke up with me, I began drinking even more to rid myself of the loneliness I had felt. For some reason, I felt as though I'd always be alone and never truly connect with another person. After some reflection, I realized that loneliness, boredom, guilt, and shame were the primary causes of my addiction and would lead to a far worse situation in the future. One day I drank way too much at work, suffered from alcohol poisoning, spent my whole shift in the bathroom, and paramedics were soon called. The next day I lost my job at the arcade and fell into an extreme depression. I had an incredible job and so many incredible friends. I discontinued my drinking but continued taking the Phenibut daily. Soon after, I had applied to a job at a nearby Walgreens, made many friends again, and had wonderful experiences. Life was easy and carefree. I was confident and had fun with quite a few girlfriends at the time. Despite the fun, I never felt as though I truly connected with someone. I had experimented with about every drug except heroin and psychedelics. I was always fascinated with being able to take something that had a guaranteed effect on my consciousness. I then met my now fiance who worked with me at Walgreens. We connected and I had something I thought I would never have. I was quite happy for a while until I left my job at Walgreens and got a job as a pharmacy technician. I was the only pharmacy tech and we probably did about 200 prescriptions a day. It was a very stressful job and I dreaded days that I worked with my manager. I soon talked to a doctor about panic attacks and began taking Xanax every day. It made me completely complacent and carefree. Patients would yell at me for 10 minutes straight and I didn't give a fuck. Soon after starting my job there, I began taking Adderall as well. My days soon revolved around what meds I would take. Being a pharmacy tech, I knew how to potentiate my medications and get the best effects out of them. I would take Phenibut on an empty stomach, wait 2 hours, take antacids, wait 30 minutes, take my Adderall prescription, then would take Tagamet every afternoon with grapefruit juice, wait 30 minutes, and take 2 milligrams of Xanax. As time went on, my substance use increased drastically. At the height of my addiction, I was taking 14 grams of Phenibut, 6 milligrams of Xanax, 2 milligrams of Klonopin, 120 milligrams of Adderall XR and IR, 30 grams of Kratom, and alcohol every once in a while. I was absolutely miserable every day, and despite how many downers I took, I never felt relaxed enough. After 4 years of extreme abuse, I decided it was time for me to leave my stressful job and go into rehab. I knew that rehab would suck, but had no idea of what terrible events were in front of me. For my withdrawal symptoms, they only prescribed 2 milligrams of Valium and 900 milligrams of gabapentin. I knew that gabapentin worked on similar receptors as Phenibut, but thought it may not be enough to ease the withdrawals. I was absolutely miserable in rehab, barely ate, and spent most of my day laying in bed. On the 5th day of being in rehab, my sanity broke. I was in a room with 2 other roommates, was smoking on the deck, and started hallucinating. I saw one of my coworkers drive their truck into the rehab facility and began shooting clients with a pistol. I took cover and was absolutely terrified. She drove in circles and would shoot every person that was outside, and I soon saw the driveway covered in blood. She then yelled, "Now I'm going to drive to your home and kill your girlfriend." She drove off, and I was terrified for the safety of my girlfriend. I called her and soon the police. I stated that I was staying at a hotel and there was a maniac who shot the place up and was going to my girlfriend's home. I don't remember much from that conversation, but I remember how my 2 roommates reacted. To this day, I am so grateful for how they handled the situation. They spoke to me and tried to calm me down. I told them that I was going to jump off a roof of a building, but they prevented me from leaving the room. I was dead set on taking my own life and experienced absolute insanity. My girlfriend and roommates told the staff at the rehab what was happening, and they came to my room, tried calming me down, and called an ambulance. One of the workers there asked me if I wanted to take the ambulance or just take my nighttime meds and relax. I thought about what my girlfriend would have wanted from me and decided to take the ambulance. If I hadn't have made that decision, I would likely not be here today. I was admitted to the hospital and was psychotic for about a week. I eventually had to be restrained as I kept trying to pull out my IVs and catheter. I was completely gone, and I don't recall much from my experience except extreme disassociation, confusion, and hallucinations. If you've ever seen the movie Get Out, then you probably remember the scene where the main character goes to the sunken place. I honestly feel as though that's the most accurate depiction of disassociation, and I felt as though I was watching my life unfold through watching a TV screen. I also had terrible hallucinations of being stranded in a dark forest with the disturbing demons trying to capture me and telling me awful things about myself. I was running away from them, but they kept catching up. I then saw some light around my girlfriend in the forest, and the light began to capture my whole view. The forest and demons soon faded away, and I saw my girlfriend in the hospital saying my name. I was awake and no longer hallucinating. My mom, dad, and girlfriend were all so happy to see that I was awake and doing well. Fortunately, my girlfriend knew about all the substances I was taking and spoke to the doctor about them. The primary doctor taking care of me had to call a specialist outside of the state to determine what medications to use for Phenibut detox. I believe they used a combination of Ativan, phenobarbital, and haloperidol. My girlfriend had told me that she thought I was having a seizure multiple times through treatment, but that the doctors didn't know if I did have any seizures or not. My mom had taken pictures and videos of my withdrawal to show me once I recovered, and served as a harsh warning to never go through detox like that again. Here is a short video clip of my detox.
Sure.
I was told that this was the most mild I had been during my detox, and for most of the time I was in a far worse mental state. As shown on the video, it looks as though I'm possessed or something. Fast forward 10 months, I've gone to rehab 8 times, tried taking my life multiple times, and went to the ER about 6 times. Every single withdrawal was terrifying, and I soon began to have even worse anxiety and chronic knee pain. Over time, I started quitting substances about one at a time. I am now 30 days sober, and the goal of telling this story is to help anyone in a similar position or simply warn people of the dangers of substance abuse. I've almost died many times due to my withdrawal, more specifically the Phenibut, alcohol, and benzo withdrawal. This detailed report will hopefully find others and let them know that they can find solace in the fact that they are not alone. Life sucks, and people may continue using substances despite their negative consequences. I wish you all the best, and please be careful with your substance use. No drug is worth losing your life to.